Hey guys, we're gonna be unboxing the Stephania Erecta. I've been wanting one of these forever, so this is like a long time wish list plant. Pretty excited for it, especially because this one came from Hawaii. All right, let's see. Hopefully it made it. It got here actually surprisingly quick because I just ordered this a couple of days ago and it came from Eva Beach on Oahu. All right. Oh my gosh, it has sprouted. Oh my goodness. Because I was wondering if I was going to be sprouting it or if it was going to be like already sprouted. Oh my gosh. Oh, its leaves are gorgeous. So that's how it came packaged. Look at those little tiny leaves. How cute are those? So the Stephania is a Kobzeff plant. There's different types of Stephanias. This is the Stephania Erecta. Look at those beautiful, dainty little white roots. Okay, so I'm gonna go outside, grab a pot, and we're gonna get potting this up. I think I'm gonna go with this pot. This is a wash basin style, and I like the rounded, kind of bulbous shape of the pot with the rounded caudex and the round leaves, so I think that'll be kind of a fun combination. So for caduciform plants, normally I will do a cactus soil mix, and depending on the plant, I will customize it a little bit grittier or a little bit finer depending on the plant and the age of the plant. So for this Stephania Erecta, it does have pretty fine roots. The roots are pretty hair-like, so they're very fibrous and fine. So what I'm gonna do is take some of my regular cactus soil mix and I'm gonna just use the finer bits of it. So I'm not gonna have any like large chunk. It's just gonna be like a finer gritty mix. So we're gonna have plenty of pumice in there, but there's gonna be a little bit of moisture retention from the soils. I just wanna show you again really quickly, these roots, how fine those are. And it's always interesting to see how the roots actually form on the plant, because different Kobzeff plants, you know, the roots will grow out differently. Some will only grow around the outer edge and they won't grow from the bottom, but this one, it looks like it's growing anywhere that it's touching the soil. So straight out at the bottom, even up the side. And you can see the old soil line too, going partway up the plant. So, all right, let's go ahead and get this little baby in here. And take out a little handful and then just backfill. So I'm planting this with the caudex about halfway in the soil. And let's see, I'm gonna clean up the pot and then I'll top dress it. Wait, maybe I want to top dress it with turfus. I might do that. Okay, you guys, I'm going to be doing an update also in this video after this kind of settles in, and I'll let you guys know how it's doing. So this video isn't going to be over yet. We're not going to end this yet. I will see you in, I guess, maybe about a week or so, and I'll check in with you and we'll see how the plant is doing. And I did water it right after I repotted it. I just gave it a little bit of water. I wasn't sure if the roots would be sensitive to root rot, but because it did travel through the mail, I wanted to kind of plump it back up again, plump those leaves back up that were kind of wilty. And so this, what you're seeing here, is actually the second watering. So the leaves are already starting to perk up here, and this was like a couple of days later. So I'm keeping this Stephania under the spider farmer grow light here. I just turned the light off so it wouldn't be blinding to you guys, but it's directly above. But we'll just keep an eye on it, and I'm gonna watch that new growth back there, and hopefully we'll get a new leaf. Hey guys, we're in the plant room and today is the first day of fall. It's September 22nd. I thought today would be a good day to do an update on the Stephania Erecta and just show you where I've had it, where it's been growing, and what it's looking like now. So I have it on the top shelf to the left here on one of my IKEA shelves, and it's been doing really good, I think. I mean, it's the first one I've grown, but so far so good. Okay, so there it is. That's the first vine that it put out. And it actually grows pretty quickly. Like the vine itself, once it gets going, once it starts, they can shoot out pretty fast. And I'm actually amazed how fast it put out this second vine. It just started putting this out maybe like 3 weeks ago. and it is already down to here. Hold on, sorry, I've got a string of hearts blocking the way here. So when it first puts out the leaves, they're a lighter, brighter green, and they do darken over time to a deeper green. And so those are the older leaves there on the older vine. And then the brighter, more like spring green leaves here. This has actually been a really fun plant to grow. It's really easy as long as you can give it enough water. So it does like regular watering from what I've noticed. And we did put it in a gritty mix with a little bit of potting soil added into it. I would actually almost say like I put it in the gritty mix because I was afraid of rotting the caudex. I know they can be sensitive. They don't want to sit in water, but at the same time, I think it would be okay to add a little more moisture retention in there. So because I've only owned this plant since July and it's only September right now, I didn't want to do, or attempt to do like a full-on in-depth care video on this. I just wanted to share kind of how I'm caring for it right now so far and things that I've noticed since growing it. So it seems to really respond well to regular, consistent watering. So I've been watering it twice a week. I also give it a lot of bright light. And I noticed when I did move positions, like I've tried it, a few different places in my plant room, just kind of testing out different areas to grow it. And it did put out this second vine straight up in the air at first, and it grew like up to here. And I was just thinking, oh, I should go ahead and stake that. And then the next morning I woke up and it was literally like laying down. It had kinked right at the base. And I was like, oh shoot. Okay, I hope that vine is still gonna make it. So far it has, because that was like, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and it seems to be fine. It does have a little bit of slight bruising underneath. You can see where it kinked. So I have this crystal up here, just kind of supporting it. But one thing I noticed is it will etiolate. So you can see this part of the stem here. Maybe if I move this a little closer for you guys. This part of the stem is etiolated. It's like extra long compared to this one here, this vine. It put out the leaves really low, like with 1.5 inches of putting out the vine, it already started popping out leaves. This one, that happened when I had moved it to a space that was a little bit lower light on my shelf, and it just wasn't getting that really bright light that it wanted. So it was basically looking. So it shot straight up, looking for light. So I should have picked up on that sooner, what it was doing. But yeah, if you get a vine that is just like poking straight up in the air, it's probably looking for more light and wants higher light. These definitely, like just as much as they want plenty of fresh water, they want lots of bright light, so they want both. So I actually didn't plan on staking this plant or putting a trellis up or anything. I just thought I would just let it, grow down and kind of trail a little, because I really like that look. I just think it looks really elegant and beautiful, just sort of, cascading down. But if you wanted to put, some sort of trellis or support upward, or even just a bamboo stake or something, and experiment with it growing upwards, you could definitely do that. I think it would probably really enjoy that. And if you get into the habit of watering consistently, it really responds to that and gets very excited and really starts pushing out more growth and bigger leaves. While they do have a caudex and that does hold water, they don't want to have to rely on that water. That's what I've noticed about this plant. Like that's like a backup if it has to, if it's forced to, then it knows it has that reservoir of water in there. But really, it's just greedy for more. It wants more water, more light, and it seems to be really happy if it can get both of those things. I'm thinking though, the one thing I would change about like how we potted this up is the soil mix. I would add a little more organic matter to this mix instead of, because we did the gritty mix and I just added a little bit of potting soil to that. I think I would change it up and make it a little more moisture retentive, at least in my climate, because we're in the desert and we have a lot of times like single-digit humidity or, very low teens humidity. Oh, have I fertilized it yet? Did I fertilize it at all? I don't think so, but I would go ahead and add like a little bit of like really diluted fertilizer. Or you could add like a little bit of worm castings or something. That would be great, just a natural fertilizer. But so far I have not fertilized mine yet. And because these love bright light, the little leaves, I think I mentioned this probably already, but the leaves will turn towards the light. So they really like to face the light. Because these don't have a lot of leaves, they're pretty easy when it comes to pest care or pest care, as if you're caring for the pests. Pest maintenance, I should say. So pest maintenance and caring for the plant, protecting them from the pests. I haven't really had any problems with pests on this plant except for one leaf leaf got bitten up by spider mites because I had a couple of rushes of spider mites going through my room, and so I had to, you know, go to war with them. And basically, it's all good now. But this plant did get one leaf that, I don't know, like there must have been a really hungry spider mite and it was just like, well, I guess I'll take this. But they don't really seem to be into it that much from what I've noticed. Like if you have other plants around that they prefer, they'll be on that and not this for some reason. I don't want to touch them too much. That's another thing I noticed is you don't want to get your fingerprints on the leaves too much, because it seems like they appear to have like a very thin veil of farina on the leaves, just like succulents. It's not very noticeable like some succulents, like the really blue or the really, you know, powdery looking ones, but it does seem to be like a very fine thin veil on there. And so you can leave fingerprints on them if you touch them too much. So I noticed that on the older leaves. So that's how, actually I think it was the spider mite bitten leaf. I was like turning it over and like looking for the spider mite, couldn't find anything on here. I actually never saw, is something on me now that as soon as I'm talking about spider mites, I like start itching. So I think I was like grabbing that particular leaf and I was like looking for the mites, and I never saw anything. But yeah, I left my fingerprint on that one. So that's how I found out about that. Oh, and when it comes to getting the Codex to sprout, I did not sprout this one, so I can't really like go over the details on it, but I know that you need high humidity. So a good idea would probably be to just, you know, put it in like a prop box or something, you know, pot it up, put it in there and until it starts to show signs of green popping through there. So pretty much, yeah, you just care for it like you would any other plant that we grow that needs high humidity. Just start it off that way. But otherwise, it's been totally fine just in regular, you know, my regular plant room humidity, which is like always around, you know, between 40% and 50, yeah, about between 40 and 50%, I would say my plant room humidity is. I can't really speak on the dormancy because I haven't got to experience that for myself. I don't know if this will go into dormancy for me here. I think they go into dormancy when it's cold, so during the cold season. And then they'll kill off their old vines, and then once they wake up, you know, from dormancy, they'll pop out fresh new vines. But if you have any experience growing Stephania, there's even different kinds. There's like the Stephania Nova. I think it has a different name now, but anyway, there's some really gorgeous Stephanias. This one is one of my favorites, and I mean, it's one of my favorite Codex plants. I just love that it has the Codex, but also it has that lushness to it too, and it adds that greenery. Again, if you have grown any Stephanias, please leave your experience in the comments below, or any tips you have for them. We all appreciate it. All right guys, I love you, have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.